In Module F, we're going to continue with our look at early golf in the United States. Particularly, we're going to look at some of the golf course architects that really changed architecture and really brought quality golf course architecture into this country. And a lot of that was started by the 1913 U.S. Open champion, Francis Ouimet, who really becomes a leader and a mover in golf in the United States. Here is his picture flanked by Harry Vardon and Ray, who he competed against and who will be featured in the movie that we're going to watch next time in class after the exam. Yes, please be aware that there will be a 100-point exam next time we meet in the classroom. You can start the exam at 6 p.m. So in the vein of all good golfers come to Pinehurst, here's a picture from the mid-1900s where Francis Ouimet is driving the ball at the Pinehurst course, and Donald Ross is watching. So pretty much even back then and today, all great golfers come through Pinehurst. So let's get right into these architects. The first we're going to talk about is Myopia Hunt Club. Herbert Leeds lived until 1930. He was a Harvard-educated sportsman, yachting, baseball, football, from a rich family. Cards were a big part of his modus operandi. He really didn't start golf till he was 40, and in 2 years he was a scratch golfer, so a phenomenal athlete. Became the head executive of the USGA in 1905. And was the major architect for Myopia Hunt Club. This club was called Myopia because the first 4 members all wore glasses. So, interesting way to get its idea. But again, myopia means not able to see or having bad eyesight. So, but he modeled this after Shinnecock. 4 U.S. Opens were done there, and it was a masterpiece. He never ceased working on this, and I love the idea. He basically designed the hole with no bunkers, and then as he played with the better golfers in the club, when they missed a shot, he would place a bunker chip in that spot, and from there maybe the player would come out the next week and there would be a bunker in that spot. So bunkers were always added, and he was basically a pretty big influence on Donald Ross, Tillinghast, and some of the great architects that we're going to talk about as the course moves forward. If you want to see his work, the easiest place to do that is the original 9 at the Palmetto course in Aiken, South Carolina. Here's a picture of Myopia. You can see standard New England club, pretty famous. Bobby Jones played quite a few rounds there. Again, a Shinnecock feel with a few more trees, a more inland or heathland type course, but still that Shinnecock links open feel. Nice clubhouse there with, you can see roll-off areas similar to the roll-off areas at Pinehurst. This adds to the excitement and playability of the golf course, and this has been from a recent restoration where the superintendent decided to shave down these areas and really change the course for the better. These are the Jonesville bunkers. Bobby Jones went to school at Harvard right near this course, and it was said he visited these bunkers often. This is a bunker on the 10th hole, a 405-yard hole that basically the stairs had to be added because President Taft, one time Leeds went out there and he saw 4 caddies with a rope trying to lift President Taft out of the bunker. So he dug it even deeper for Taft. So the president didn't have any pull at Myopia Hunt Club. This golf course had huge chocolate drops, over 200 bunkers that kept being added and added. So here's another one of these fall-off areas that was fixed by the greenkeeper David Hirona in 1986. So before, if the ball came off, we would just stop in long rough. But by shaving this, mishit shots will roll all the way off into this bunker, making the play much more difficult. Here's a true cross bunker, so the line of play, you have to play your flight right over here. So even though great innovation, still some of the older ideas that don't play into the strategic school of design that we talked about at the beginning. Here's a nice short par 3, similar to the postage stamp at Royal Troon. You can see easy hole, yet very difficult if you miss the green and get into these deep bunkers. Again, spectacular bunkering at Myopia Hunt Club. And Sandhills does have a tie to Myopia Hunt Club. In 1918, the U.S. Open at Myopia Hunt Club was won by Fred McLeod. Fred McLeod was a good friend of George Thompson. Fred McLeod was the pro at Columbia Country Club in Chevy Chase, Maryland. George Thompson was the golf course superintendent at Chevy Chase Golf Club in Maryland. George was there from 1963 to 1982. He still has friends there. It'd be a great place to do an internship if you choose. And this golf course was designed by Walter Travis, who we're going to talk about next, and Willie Flynn, who we won't talk about as much in the class. But Travis is going to be really important, particularly when we talk about Garden City Golf Club. Here is the Chevy Chase clubhouse. Beautiful, right downtown Washington, D.C., and this is where Dave Peltz honed a lot of his ideas on the putting green, because George had such good putting greens, they were so true that this is where Dave Peltz brought his players to practice in the D.C. area. So we're going to talk about Garden City Golf Club, which is in Garden City, New York. Probably one of the best places to grow grass in the world. It's basically a USGA green, 12 or 15 feet of sand over gravel that was deposited there by the ocean. Devereux Emmet routed this, used roads and creeks, flat greens. The turf was so good that everybody loved it. This is the perfect site. An alluvial deposit, as you recall, is where a river deposits the silt. The river is coming down out of the mountains, and as it turns and slows, it deposits the medium-sized particles in a clump, and this is some of the best soil, and in this case it deposited over rocks, or a riverbed of rocks. So it was an excellent site for golf. Very cheap, $2,000 golf course, and Emmett got a lot of accolades for this. Basically luck. Devereux Emmet was friends with Charles Blair Macdonald, and he did do some some training of hunting dogs in Scotland, and that's how he got into the design. You can see this is quite the outfit for designing in the early 1900s. Here's Garden City today. Again, similar photos like New England, New York area with the fall trees and the cool season grasses. Emmett was rich, like a lot of these guys. Tammany Hall in the history, FDR was the attorney general who fought Tammany Hall. Tammany Hall was pretty much a corrupt government in New York City. Made a fortune for Devereux, and then Devereux decided to build this golf course, and he got great accolades, and everybody decided to hire him to build their other courses, and they really didn't do well. The original Congressional golf course had to be redone. DuPont's private golf course in Delaware is no longer in existence. Bethpage Green is still in existence, but it's probably the third or fourth best golf course at Bethpage. Vanderbilt Estate no longer in existence, and even in New York, Hogback Mountain no longer in existence. So Devereux did not stand the test of time, and even Garden City was redone by one of the really important designers we're going to talk about next. This is a little quote from golfclubatlas.com. You're welcome to go on to that site and read it, but Garden City is renowned golf course for its history and also for its design. Fairly simple looking, but very strategic golf course. And you're welcome to go to Golf Club Atlas and read the comments with the pictures about Garden City. But the main guy we're going to talk about is Walter Travis, the old man of golf. Didn't start till he was 35. Pretty much always had that yellow jacket. We saw the picture of at the start, and a cigar in his mouth. He won the U.S. Amateur 3 times in 1900, 1901, and 1903. He won the British Amateur in 1904. He was a sneaky sure driver, really never hit the ball further than 175 yards. When he won the British Amateur, it was a huge affront to the English press, and they even outlawed the Schenectady putter, which was a center shafted putter that he used. They thought he was cheating because he was such a good putter. When he got over there, he was given a caddy that he said was retarded, was really the worst. And every time he won a match, he tried to get the caddy from the player that he beat, and none of them would allow him the caddy. So he had to use this way inferior caddy through the entire championship. But he did prevail and win the British Amateur, even though he never hit the ball further than 175 yards. So Walter Travis is my patron saint of golf. He was a member of Garden City. He was a runner-up to the 1902 Open there. So he won in 90-91, didn't win in 92 at Garden City. And then he was allowed to redesign the golf course. So he eliminated many of the crossbunkers and basically changed all that Emmet had done. He lifted the greens and added all kinds of undulation to the greens because that was his strength, was putting. So just like Jack Nicklaus, who designs golf courses that favor a big high fade, Travis began designing golf courses that favor putting. Tom Doak recently has restored Garden City's bunkers, and what they did is they went in there and dug, and they did all these bunkers are as deep as they can be till they hit gravel. So you can see probably 8 or 9 feet of sand here on top of gravel that was deposited by the rivers up there in New England. Very similar to the site at St. Andrews. The 10th fairway bunker guards the back left, and you can see just how deep and treacherous Travis and Doak have made these bunkers. Full shot penalties for getting in a bunker like England, not like a lot of the golf courses today where the bunkers are perfectly manicured. And then you can see these bunkers are flat, easy to maintain, except for the fly mowing on the face. He was really a proponent of strategic golf. You should have to hit slices and hooks, move the ball both directions. Stuff that Pete Dye uses today, but a lot of modern architects have gone away with these ideas and believe green should always be undulating. So he was the grand old man of golf course design. And we're going to talk next time when we talk about Charles Blair Macdonald. Walter Travis did consult with him on the National, and even in one of Travis's books, he claims fame for designing Pinehurst, and he did walk Pinehurst number 2 with Donald Ross and have some say in the design of Pinehurst number 2. Also, Walter Travis came up with this method of practicing putting, and this is on the putting green behind Pinehurst, but these small cups, you can see where the ball just barely fits in, and by practicing with these to these cups, once you get on the hole and putt to a normal size hole, the hole seems much larger. So this is something Travis did that helped him become a world-renowned putter. And here again, we just talk about the modifications of Garden City, and then how it was really well received by the golf press in the very early 1900s. So if you want to see Walter Travis's work, Ekwanok in Vermont is very famous. Actually, pictures of Walter Travis there. Westchester Country Club, where they play the Westchester Open, close to New York. The original line at Sea Island, which was just made 18 by Davis Love, who really didn't want to do the job. He liked the golf course so much, is 9, but it's a beautiful golf course now, so a magnificent site. And then also consultant for the National, Pinehurst No. 2, and Pine Valley. So he got around, and this was a unique time because the architects got along and collaborated on projects. So we get some wonderful projects that wouldn't be possible today. And there's the 18th at Westchester. And there's a picture of Walter Travis when he visited Pinehurst, when it was sand greens, and consulted with Ross. Here's Ekwanok, and here's just a beautiful site up there in Vermont. And there's a picture of Walter Travis, similar to the putter boy that we've got here in Pinehurst. And here's probably the essence of strategy. You can get there down the middle, but if you're off, you're going to have some really risky shots with these many bunkers. Travis, pretty strategic. Some ideas that Ross really used. Again, undulating greens, and routing that goes in all different directions. So trying to use the land, the lay of the land, and also the weather to your advantage to keep the golf course, keep the golfers thinking, and keep them on their toes. So the sign of a really good golf course is not all things the same. Things different, changing every hole. Using every club in the bag is one of the things that I think is really the sign of a great golf course architect. Here's a different type of bunker maintenance. This is something that many of you as future golf course superintendents should be aware of. This is an option. If your members will let you get away with it, it saves quite a bit of money on maintenance. The more natural, native look, not fertilizing the bunker. The bunker's still manicured, but it's rough around the edges, and there are some difficult shots involved there. So some observations. Any golf course can be made better by good turf, but it really takes a great architect to build a strategic golf course that will hold up even with poor turf. And a great golf course can be ruined by poor turf. So the golf course superintendent is very important in this mix. Little history of Westchester, or Wetchester they call it because of the time of year. Oftentimes there's much rain. Ted Horton was the golf course superintendent. Wingfoot raised the winning score 15 strokes, and then he came to Westchester. It was remodeled by Flynn, Tall, Perry, Maxwell, Joe Finger, and Reese Jones. So very common in that northeast area where the members are rich to have the golf courses tinkered with long and many times. So always improving or going away depending on your opinion on that. And that's something that we can discuss in class. whether golf courses should be redone. The Elks course here in Southern Pines is a great example of that. Some of the redos are interesting, but were they improvements or did they make the golf course worse? Sometimes when a golf course doesn't have money to do any changes, like Crystal Downs up in Michigan, you preserve a gem. And there's Westchester just looking out to that northeastern terrain, which is topographical changes that make it excellent for golf. All right. And that was it for this section. So we will watch the movie next time, and you'll learn more about Francis Ouimet, Harry Vardon, and Ted Ray.